Okay, now we're going to put it all together. I'm just going to make one, although as you know that I said I was making two, but for the purpose of the demonstration I'm just going to put everything aside. Oh, actually I might colour the leaves and flowers all in one go. So I'm going to colour them first. Let's put these other things aside. One of those. Okay, I'm using Distress Oxide inks for this, and I'm going to use a little brush, which I put here safely somewhere. Here it is. I'll do the leaves first. So I'm using cracked pistachio first. So I'm going to do the ends. Now, there are a number of brands that have brought out these brushes, but these are actually makeup brushes that I bought at Paperific. And they work really well, so a lot cheaper. So I'm just going to do the ends with the lighter green, and then I'm going to come in with a darker green at the bottom. No hard and fast rule, and you could also put something like Dimensional Magic or one of those sort of things on the top of that. Oops. Just being careful to keep you. You can also sit them in, which is sometimes easier. If you sit it in where you cut it from, it makes it easier to colour. And you're not going to bend your leaves. So I'll stick the other one in there. So it's just holding it flat, and it tends not to bend on the edges then. Okay, so finished with the cracked pistachio. I'm going to go in with a bit of lucky clover, sorry, which is just a bit darker towards the bottom. This is, you could colour this any way you wanted. You could leave it white if you wanted. I just wanted a bit of colour, and I wanted to stick to the pastels because of the pastel in the vellum. Okay, that's those two leaves done. Let's stick this one in there as well. There we go. Let's do this one down here. If you find it's getting too dark, just go back to your light colour and blend it in a bit more. Okay, so that's the leaves done. Now I'm just going to rub that on there, get a baby wipe and just wipe some of that green out of there. Okay, now for the flowers I was going to use, and just make sure I put the right lids on the right Distress Oxide inks. I was going to use picked raspberry and a bit of squeezed lemonade in the middle. I'm just using the same brush, so I'm just going around the outside edge with a bit of picked raspberry. This is not a hard and fast rule. I'm only showing you how I decorate this one. You can decorate it however you like. And that is the beauty of craft. It's what we like that we do. I've been wanting to use these brushes, so that's why I'm using them today. They've been in the cupboard for a couple of months now and I haven't used them, so I thought I'd give it a try. You could just colour it with some alcohol inks, of course. Again, I'm just going to wipe that off because I want to go in with a yellow. Bit of yellow in the centre, which will go out a bit into the bit of orange. So you get a bit of yellow, orange and the pink. So that's that one done. And that's that one done. So that's all the colouring done. I'll just put my brush aside and my inks aside. And now we can concentrate on getting the card together. Okay, So first of all, I'm going to take the card and fold it. Now, remembering that I did a embossed line there to do that, I'm going to crease it from the back simply because it's just a thin piece on the front. Okay, I'm going to take my two frames, my two building frames, I'm going to call them, oops, and I'm going to glue them together. Now, you can use any sort of glue you like. I'm going to use a wet glue today. I usually use PVA, but hey, there are as many glues as there are crafters, I think. So just, the tape might have been quicker, I think. I just want this glue to dry a bit, so I'm doing this one first. Then it's just a matter of laying. The beauty of a wet glue, though, of course, is that you can, whoops, move it, slide it around a little bit, whereas if you use tape, pretty much where you put it is where it stays. So it's just a matter of making sure that they're equal, and that's just going to give us a bit of bulk on the card. Just wipe that glue off my fingers. Okay, now back to our card. I'm going to flatten it out, and the first thing I'm going to do is lay down the vellum. Now, I've made that exact size. You can make it just that little bit smaller or trim a bit off if you want. For this one, I'm going to use tape. I'm just going down, whoops. I'm getting tape all over me. And I should have double checked to make sure there was no paint on my... So, just laying it where it should be. I'm going to have to trim that. There's a bit over the edge. Take off that bit of tape there. I'll leave it till I'm completely finished and then I will trim it all in one go. Okay, simple so far. The next thing I'm going to do is tape down, glue down these, and for this one I think I will use a wet glue again. Just enough to get it to stick. This is because I want it in exactly the right place, and so the wet glue gives me a chance, whoops, to maneuver it a bit. Okay, so, and I just moved it then. So it should be in exactly the same place as the frame underneath. So if you look from either side, you should not be seeing frame. This needs to come a little bit this way. Okay, almost done. Isn't that incredible? Okay, so now I'm going to put some sequins in there. I'm sticking to a fairly pastel sequin in keeping with the theme of the card, I guess, and I'm just using little ones, so I'm just going to stick them on there. So just sit them there for a minute. That aside, I'm going to take my happy birthday frame and my piece of acetate. Now this I'm going to use tape for because I want a nice strong bond. Drive on the edge a bit there. There we go. Now the piece of acetate needs to go exactly on top. Okay, that's going to be our top bit. I'm just going to put a bit of embossing powder, the powder you use when you're embossing, only just to make sure that the sequins don't stick to it. Now I've got a choice again of wet glue or tape, but I'm going to use tape because, whoops, I think it will give me a better seal, and I'm going to put it on here because if I move that I might end up with sequins everywhere. So just because we've made those in effect 1/4 of an inch, and this is 1/4 of an inch tape, it's perfect. Okay. So once you put all your sequins in, you can put a few more in. I might just put a couple of bigger ones in, I think. There we go. It's just a matter of making sure you get it in the corners and settling it down. There you go. All shaking around beautifully. Except the couple in the middle there where I've had them on top of one another. But there's enough shaking there to get it done. Okay, now I want to put the happy birthday across there, and you can see that those lines line up. So I'm just going to use a bit of tape for that. And I'm going to put it, make sure I put it the right way up, and making sure that my lines line up across the middle like that. And then all I've got left is my little flowers, which I'm going to put down here in the corner. So I've got, I don't want these too heavy stuck down. You could do any number of ways with this, but what I'm going to do is just a little bit of glue on a couple of the leaves and grab my tweezers to pick that up. There we go. And I'm going to put that there. So just a gentle tap down. And then, what I did with the other ones like that, because they'll be around here somewhere. Doing the same thing with that. Just a bit at the end. Not a great amount of glue. Now I want that to stay a little bit more up that way. Just pushing it down. Okay, then we've got our flower. Now I'm going to do right around the centre bit here, and just a couple of bits out there, and sit that on top. And then I think I might put a little gemstone in there because that'll match the, oh actually, you know what I could do is add a sequin. If I can get a pink one. You know, there's lots of pink ones in here and I'm looking at a distance, so let me just get it a bit closer. Very easy ways to pick up sequins, aren't there? So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there and pick up the sequin. I'll get my jewel picker. I think I want it cupped up, so I'm just going to do that and stick it down. There we go. There's the card all done. The sequins are shaking around in there. It looks really pretty. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial.